as the information that we need with regard to the budget estimates. But now we go to the National Assembly buildings where Kevin Nyakundi and Nicole Njuguna are on standby to bring us up to speed on the movements within the Parliament, the August House presence, on what is happening, how does it look like, security, has it been beefed up, and also just what are the expectations of Kenyans who perhaps are around there. Nyakundi, good morning to you. Kindly talk to us this morning with regard to the budget estimates.
Good morning, Aseto. We are outside Parliament buildings. We've been crossing over from Parliament, inside Parliament, also outside the Parliament buildings, just looking at the security detail here. And so far, what is happening is since morning, we've seen the deployment of different entities within the security sector around this particular area. And of course, Nicole is with me here. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine.
Awesome.
So, move closer. Yes. All right. So, Nicole, when you look at such a day, of course, on a normal day, we would find a day like this where this area has been cordoned off. And as we have been working with you and trying to even ask the security personnel right here, it seems still they've not cordoned
it's
the
still
area
not cordoned off, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen quite some multi-sectoral agencies. We've seen the NIS down there, some GSU, some plainclothes police officer. So security is quite beefed up around the area, but you can see the vehicles and the pedestrians are still passing just as normal as they normally would on a typical day. So we are looking to see if there will be any developments maybe in the next 1 or 2 hours as well, and what Kenyans have to say on the 4 trillion shilling budget.
All right.
Yeah.
Even as you mentioned, the 4 trillion shilling budget, of course, we saw some of the sectors being allocated money. And when you look at the government national budgets, that's education, which accounts for the largest share, that is 34.8%, amounting to around 654 billion shillings. Now, the Teacher Service Commission is also set to receive an allocation of around 351 billion. So when you look at this budget, it's really focusing on education as much. Even as Kenyans still continue grappling with high cost of living, because we've seen just the conclusion of public participation on the finance bill, which has brought a lot of especially discussions when it comes to the different proposals within that finance bill. So
actually, some would argue that this current year's budgetary process has been the most engaging one compared to other years, and has seen more participation from citizens, even in terms of awareness and the process, compared to other years. So the anticipation is quite building up. Yeah.
All right. Even as the anticipation also builds up, we are also looking at energy, infrastructure, and ICT sector with a total allocation of around 462 billion. And notably, under the energy sector, the rural electrification, which includes the installation of new transformers and maximizing on connection within the rural areas as well. And I believe last week we also did a story on that, and this week as well.
Yes.
The rural
introduction of the
in counties, right? So therefore, these are some of the issues that we have in the budget. And even as we continue discussing, what stood out for you when you looked at...
When I looked at the budget?
Yes.
So for me, mostly the health sector with the allocation of the allocation of 126.8 billion shillings. Also the edible oils value chain, which has been allocated approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings. And the edible oils value chain is a big one, because this one drew quite a number of engagement during the public participation process. So another one that I also think is important is the 1.2 billion allocation for leather industry interventions, especially because Kenya is quite big, or is gearing up towards growing its leather industry exportation to other countries. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
All right.
Yeah.
And also, for me, what stood out is also the health, the allocation on the health ministry, as we've seen for, I think, the better part of last month, the health sector was the medical practitioners were on strike. asking for some things more from the government. And during Labor Day celebrations, of course, the president said, we just need to continue with what we have. And at the end of the day, this sector also has been allocated for something. And when we look at the additionally, approximately around 350 million for cotton value chain development, also that is agriculture. So these are some of the issues when it comes to budget 2024-2025. And what we'll look at, especially in the fiscal in the fiscal year, and when it comes to July 1st this year until next year, what are we going to put into this budget? And of course, the question that we need also to ask ourselves is, are we able to really finance this particular budget?
That's a big one, especially because KRA was not able to meet its revenue targets for the last year.
Yes.
So the question in the streets has been, what gives KRA the confidence to think that, rather to estimate that they will be able to collect their revenue targets for this year, yet the last year has been a target. So we are definitely looking forward to seeing what that looks like in this financial year 2024-2025.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much for that. And of course, we will be keeping you up to date on the latest developments from our side in Parliament. Not so much going on, but I believe in the next hour or so, we will be able to see some activity right at this place. For now, back to you in studio.
Thank you, Kevin Nyakundi and Nicole Njuguna from the Parliament buildings, including Noah Kipkemboi from the Treasury building as